Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to my latest video, and as you can see by the title, we're back with Smokey and the Bandit. This time we're reviewing part 2, which is here. This is the double feature Smokey and the Bandit part 2 and 3. So yeah, so this one is going to be reviewing part 2. So just like part 1, the original, I'll give you a little bit of background, sort of go through the plot a bit and then give my thoughts at the end. So this one was released in 1980, directed once again by Hal Needham, Burt Reynolds, Sally Fields, Jerry Reed, Jackie Gleason, Mike Henry, all back from the first one, and they're joined by Dom DeLuise for this one. As expected, it's the sequel to the 1977 film Smokey and the Bandit, and it was originally released in the UK, New Zealand, Australia and several other mainly Commonwealth countries as Smokey and the Bandit, Bandit Rides Again. But on this one, my DVD copy, it's just Smokey and the Bandit 2. So yeah, but apparently early video releases and TV broadcasts also used this title. But in more recent years, most of them have reverted to the original US title, which is Smokey and the Bandit 2. Was followed by another sequel 3 years later, Smokey and the Bandit Part 3, which, you know, I'll get into doing that one. So basically the plot in this one is Big Enos Burdett, again played by Pat McCormick, is in a literal mudslinging campaign against John Conn, played by David Huddleston, for governor of Texas. They're basically just doing everything they can to sabotage each other's campaigns. So after a failed attempt to get the outgoing governor's endorsement, the outgoing governor is played by John Anderson, Big Enos overhears him on the phone ordering a crate in Miami to be delivered in 9 days to the Republican National Convention in Dallas. So he decides this would be a good way to get, you know, a bit of sway, a bit of favoritism, and, you know, get the governor's endorsement. So he makes a note of the crate number and decides he's going to get this crate delivered, but obviously he's not going to do it himself. So he tracks down Cletus Snowman Snow, once again played by Jerry Reed, and offers him and Bandit, again played by Burt Reynolds, $200,000 to do the run. Snowman agrees, you know, goes, but says, you know, I'll have to go consult with Bandit. Goes to this like horrible little motel place where Bandit's staying, and Bandit is absolutely wrecked. He's split up with Carrie. He's a heavy drinker. When Cletus gets there, he's in absolutely no condition. Tells him about this, you know, offer that's been made. So all he needs him to do is just look sober, act sober, just while they arrive, and then, you know, get the money. Anyway, Burdett's turn up and sort of lay out the proposition to Bandit. He makes this sort of weird drunken noise, and they're like, well, how much more do you want to do it? He holds up two fingers, so they're like, 200,000, right, $400,000, you've got a deal. So even in his drunken stupor, Bandit's managed to double the payoff. They leave, and then, you know, Cletus is like all over the place. Bandit realizes that, you know, he's going to be doing a run, and he starts to miss Carrie and gets, you know, a bit emotional. Meanwhile, Carrie is back in Texarkana, and she's again set to marry Junior, again played by Mark Henry even, and Cletus rings the church where she's about to get married, offers her, but you don't actually hear what he offers her over the phone, but all you can assume is that it's a large amount of money, because she tells, you know, Junior that she needs to go. So as she's leaving up the aisle to the church, Buford tries to stop her, But since the stress of all from the first film, he has a thing set on him, so when his heart rate goes up, he has to do this thing to calm himself down. She mentions Bandit's name, which is the main trigger, and he starts doing his relaxing, exercises while he's doing that. She goes out, jumps in the car, and drives off. Heads to the motel where Bandit is, and Cletus goes out. Bandit goes out to meet her. He's sort of sobered up by this point, obviously. They've tidied up the motel room, got rid of all the cans and everything. Bandit goes out to talk to her, and then Cletus comes out, and she's talking to him, and you can sort of still see there's a bit of chemistry there between Bandit and Carrie, but she makes it clear, I'm only here for the money, and to do this job. So they end up getting Bandit off the booze and trying to get him back into shape, which involves taking him to a gymnasium, and they have these, I don't know if it were a big thing in the 80s because I've never seen one, and it's like a belt that vibrates, and they put it around your stomach, and it jiggles everything. I'm assuming they thought it were a way of vibrating fat away. So Bandit's stuck on one of these while Carrie and Snowman are sat eating cheeseburgers. But anyway, they get him back in shape. Then it shows there's one scene where there's a horse race started, and then there's horses in the, I forgot what they call them, and then there's Bandit in one, and as the gates fly open, the horses set off, Bandit sets off running, Snowman stood at the side with a stopwatch, and you see Bandit running, and then he comes back to where Snowman is, and Snowman tells him, right, so hell son, you're about ready for the Kentucky Derby. Bandit laughs and runs off. So they decide they're back in shape, they're ready to go. So they get some of the money, and then they get Junior's car gets traded in by Carrie, and they buy a new Trans Am. So they set off, get to Miami, get to the pier, go to pick up the crate, only to find out that it's quarantined for 3 weeks. So what do we do? So they decide to go back late that night and steal the contents of the crate. The only problem is, once they find the crate, it's absolutely huge. And as Cletus and Bandit sort of arguing about how to open this crate, Carrie opens the door, and this elephant comes storming out. Bandit jumps in the way of her, saves her, and so Carrie's like, you jumped in front of an elephant for me, and he's like, well, yeah. And then the elephant stops, and then they realise that she's holding her foot up, and Carrie's like, oh, she's got something stuck in her foot, and Bandit's like, I could have been crushed. So anyway, he goes over and he pulls this, like a nail or something, splinter or something out of her foot, and then that's it. Then the elephant, who they nicknamed Charlotte after Snowman's aunt, is she has a soft spot for Bandit. Anyway, he manages to get her into the trailer by just telling her to go in, and then he gets to turn around in the trailer so they can get her loaded and get gone. And so they do, and as they're coming out of the dock, they have to stop because Buford's packed up, and so they have a little bit of a verbal over the walkie-talkies, and Buford's got his gun. So Bandit sort of teases him into showing how good of a shot he is. Anyway, he's keeping count of the bullets that he uses, and then he says, right, he says, well, I'm going. It's like, oh, you can't go anyway. He says, well, he says, I'm convinced of one thing. He says, what's that? I'm convinced you're out of bullets, so, I'll see you later. So he jumps in the car. Buford asks for Junior's gun, but Junior's gun's empty because, it makes it too heavy for him when the bullets are in it, which is, the way he delivers that line, it's just amazing. So that's the first time we see the Trans Am go airborne in this film, as it jumps over Buford's car. Snowman just kind of pushes Buford's car to one side. Anyway, a bit further down the road, Snowman tells him he needs some fuel. They see a sign for last chance for fuel before you get to I'm assuming the big freeways and that. They pull over, and it's this proper little, I don't want to use the word hick gas station, but it's actually a guy sat there listening to some music. And you asked him if he's got diesel, and he's like, oh yeah, I've got loads of diesel. So anyway, truck pulls up, and then they go and check on Charlotte. They notice something's not right. Seconds later, an ambulance pulls in. Snowman sees it, so he decides, well, doctor's a doctor. So he goes over and they end up convincing this doctor in the back of the truck, who's played by Dom DeLuise, to come and have a look at Charlotte for him. And all the tell her is that, she's not well, they just need him to have a look. But he's a gynecologist by trade. He's trying to learn, other medicine and all this sort of stuff. And then the last thing you hear is, she's a big girl. And as the walk around, obviously, he sees the elephant. He comes running back around the truck, puts his stethoscope to his own heart. Anyway, they agree to let him have a look. In the meantime, he's like, no, I can't. I'm with that ambulance there as the ambulance tears off down the road. So he's like, well, are you guys going to, I think it's Miami or something? They're like, well, you kind of in a roundabout way. So he's like, oh, can I hitch your IV? And they're like, you look after her, you can come with us. So he gets into the back with Charlotte and is having a look. They show up the truck and everything, and then they set off and everything seems to be okay. As they're going, Doc later finds out that Charlotte the elephant is pregnant and she's literally due at any time. Bandit is determined to sort of make, stay on schedule, make this, run work and everything. As they get into Louisiana, Doc tells them it's almost time, she needs to be off her feet. So they pull up into this old abandoned, I think it's like a sports arena or something. And they're having a chat about it, and Clear says, look, we just need a night away, just, have a bit of fun, and then we'll see what's what tomorrow. Anyway, they find this young kid who get to look after Charlotte for them. They go into a bar where Don Williams is playing, and then he starts singing this song after he's acknowledged that Bandit's at room. And then Carrie puts Bandit's arm back, around her and stuff, and he starts scribbling on this napkin, and she's like, what are you doing? He says, I'm writing a poem for you, but I'm not going to show you it yet. Anyway, she ends up grabbing the napkin at one point and just sees a picture of an elephant with a net underneath her, and a picture of the trailer, and he says, look, it can keep her off her feet. Doc says she needs to be off her feet. Anyway, Carrie storms off. He goes off after her and it's like, what's up with you? And she's like, I can't be with you. It's all about your ego. It's all about, being famous and all this sort of stuff. I'll only be with you when you like you. So off she goes. Late that night, he's absolutely drunk. Makes the net, shows it to Doc, and Doc's like, begrudgingly, yeah, it'll work. But he has like a bit of an argument with Cletus and Doc about the whole thing, but they agree that this idea will work. Meantime, Buford has decided to call in the cavalry, so he gets in touch with his brothers, Reggie, who's a mounted sergeant in Quebec, and Gaylord, an effeminate Texas State patrolman, who are both also played by Jackie Gleason. And when I was younger, just thought that maybe the guy who played Buford had brothers and they brought them in. Well, especially for Reggie the Mountie. The other one, Gaylord, you wouldn't really recognise. But it wasn't until I was an adult, I was like, that's Jackie Gleason, he's playing all three of them. And it's brilliant. So yeah, anyway, Bandit and Cletus get into Texas, and Buford's following him, and he lures Bandit into this trap, so if you've got the guts, take a right here, and we'll see how much of a man you are. So Bandit tells Snowman, you just carry on going, I'm going to see what Buford's up to. And anyway, he goes into this desert road, and it's just hills at either side, and there's just police cars either side. There's the Mounties on one side, the Texas State Cruisers on the other. And as Bandit comes through, you've got like Buford, and then his two brothers come down, and all these cars just start descending, and Bandit's just battling through this desert with all these cars. He gets on radio to Cletus and he's telling him what's going on, and then Cletus starts driving towards him, and he's like, what are you doing? It's like, tell me what you see, how many trucks do you see? And he's like, I see one. And then all of a sudden all these trucks start coming out from behind Snowman, and it just turns into the biggest game of chicken ever. All these police cars are getting smashed up in various ways and getting destroyed in the desert. It's just one big pile up. In the end, it sort of shows you a pile of police cars with the trucks circling around them. But then, obviously Bandit decides that we need to get out of here. So they head towards this gorge, and Buford's behind him. Like, oh, we've got him caught now, we've got him caught. It's a gorge, it's a dead end. Unknown to Buford, there's a load of trucks parked up side by side, and Bandit and Snowman use them as a temporary bridge. Obviously, when they've gone off, the trucks start pulling off. Buford makes it across, but by this point his car is barely functioning, so he carries on chasing Bandit. A bit further down the road, Cletus is begging Bandit to stop at this safari reserve, so they can check on Charlotte. Anyway, he pulls over, the guard comes round, and he's like, oh, you can't bring your elephant here, blah blah blah. So they throw a bit of money in his pocket, and then he's like, oh yeah, what better place for a baby, an elephant to have a baby. So she ends up having the baby. Bandit's ready to put him on truck, but Cletus refuses, punches him after Bandit insults him. And Bandit's still like, oh, you talk about her like she's a goddamn human being. And then Charlotte's head appears next to him, and she's got tears coming down her cheek. Bandit sort of lifts his finger up, comes to his senses, and is like, no, do you know what, this is it, we're done, we're not gonna do it. Anyway, it comes to daytime, and Bandit goes to this bus station, and funnily enough, Carrie's still there. It's been God knows how long, but she's still at this bus station. Tells her, look, we can make a work job of this, because I like myself now, I know who I am, and I can't be me without you. He says, we haven't taken Charlotte to Dallas, but we can still make it late, but we can get her there. So Carrie sets off, and as they come round, you see the car parked up with the trailer with Charlotte in, and then the little baby, and obviously Carrie's all over this. Bandit asks Charlotte for permission for him and Carrie to get married, and Charlotte sort of trumpets, her approval. So Doc's in the truck now with Snowman and Fred. Fred's back as well, I forgot to mention Fred, sorry. And then they all drive away with Charlotte, in the trailer with her little baby behind her, being pulled by the Trans Am. God knows how. I mean, I know those cars are like 6.6 litre engines, but surely they'd have been better getting rid of the Bandit trailer and having that hitched up to the truck somehow. But it is what it is. They pull away, truck follows them, and then all of a sudden all you see is this Greyhound bus come down the road, and it's got Buford behind it. And then it just goes to like the closing credits, and it has a bit of a blooper reel in this one as well, which they didn't have in the first one. And it shows you like where they've made mistakes in that filming. But so yeah, that's pretty much the brief plot of Smokey and the Bandit 2. Much like the first one, this is another film I watched a lot as a kid. I remember my dad had 1 and 2 that he recorded. I don't think he ever recorded 3. No, he didn't. Just the first 2. And many a time I'd watch 1, then watch 2 straight after. I used to drive my mum up the wall. But I love them. I love the films. The first 2, I just absolutely love them. They're classics in my opinion. If you haven't seen it, watch the first and watch this. Or if you have watched the first and not the second, for whatever reason, watch it. It is just as good as the first in my opinion. I'd give this one a strong 3.5 out of 5. I gave the first one a 4, and this one is almost as good. To me, I mean, it is good. The only thing that sort of lacks to me is the first one, which is so different. Trying to do something just for money and what have you. Trying to make a bet and get somewhere and back in time because it's never been done before. So you sort of take that aspect away from it. That's what kind of loses it a little bit. But otherwise, storyline, car chases, everything is just as good as the first. The chemistry again between the cast, all of them just bounce off each other. And when you watch the blooper reel as well, it's just so funny. And I didn't find out until I was looking for some little bits of research, for this film, that they were actually filming Cannonball Run at the same time as this. So how Reynolds and Dom DeLuise managed to cope with filming 2 films at once is beyond me, but obviously they found a way. And those are another 2 films that I absolutely love, Cannonball Run and Cannonball Run 2. But yeah, the chemistry between everybody in these films again is amazing. Buford's character is just as good as the first one. Junior is just as daft. I haven't mentioned so much, any of my favourite scenes in this because I didn't want to take anything away. But yeah, it is a good film. I'd say it's strong 3.5 out of 5. If I had to, it'd be 3.9 out of 5. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. I love it. It's part of my childhood. It's probably one of the only parts of my childhood that I've managed to cling on to without being judged for it. So yeah, that is my review of Smokey and the Bandit Part 2, or Bandit Rides Again, whatever you want to call it. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, thank you for watching. For those of you who are subscribed, thank you for taking the time. Hope all of you out there are okay and doing well and everything. And that'll do it until next time, guys. So until then, take it easy, look after yourselves. Bye for now.